Okay, let's begin. Welcome everybody from TikTok. Welcome everybody on YouTube. Another live. As always, this is about you asking me questions that you have on your spiritual journey. Anything related to your spiritual awakening, your spiritual journey. If you don't know about me, long story short, I've been doing this for years and I had a massive, powerful awakening of the true nature of self in 2017, and I've been talking since then. Of course, don't take anything I say as ultimate truth. However, don't just disregard it instantly as well. I know what I'm talking about, but it still comes down to you to accept the words that come out of my mouth. Okay, so let's go to the beginning. Who has the first question? Hello, Janice. Janice says, I've been experiencing high vibrations and a lot of love during this awakening. That means you are experiencing your true nature. Some things are scary. What's scary? How do I unawaken? What do you mean by unawaken? There's no such thing. Or did you mean awaken? You want to go back to sleep, says Tree. You can't go back to sleep from the foreground of reality. So what you are experiencing right now, the so-called waking state, this is what I refer to as the foreground of reality. The background is that place you are trying to get back to, the sleep. Yeah, the lack of a mind, I guess, is what you are trying to attain. But Tree, you are always the background as well. The background is this pure consciousness that the mind bubbles within and subsides back into. So you are never truly away from that placeless place or that sleep place. It's here right now, it's present right now. You are experiencing the words in your mind, I want to go back to sleep. But the experiencer isn't in the mind, it's experiencing the mind. When awakening happens, which with respect, I suggest you haven't actually awakened yet for you to say this, you actually come to appreciate the so-called dualistic experience. You see that this so-called waking state is also that non-dual or that ultimate state that people are seeking. They're intertwined, they're yin and yang, they are two sides of the same coin. And that's the beauty of this, is you get to experience reality objectively as an individual person, whilst also being that pure consciousness or pure background that doesn't get tangled up in the individual's journey. You are both. I'm seeing people really differently. Differently how? How do you deal with the frustration from entrapment of the social construct which prevents me from practicing my beliefs? With respect, what's your name? Nikki. It sounds like you're allowing the social construct to prevent you from practicing your beliefs. You're allowing it. You have a choice. Like right now, I have a choice to do a live. You have a choice to join this live. You could go right now and sit next to a tree and practice your beliefs. Don't allow the social construct, don't allow these concepts, don't allow society to stop you from going so-called inwards. I say so-called because there isn't really an inwards. It's all just here and now. Know your strength. I mean, like being your old... Is that typo? I mean, like... Oh, I guess that's supposed to be self. I mean, like losing your old self is a bit scary as I'm doubting myself sometimes. Okay, yeah. If that's what you meant, I think there's a typo, Janice. It can be scary to say goodbye to your old ego, your old self, or the attachment that you had to it once. But what I can say is, don't worry, because that old self doesn't actually go anywhere. It's still present. It's still within your body. It's still within your mind. It's just that you don't identify as that being you anymore. That's what the awakening comes to show you. You're still Janice. You're still those memories, or they're still a part of your experience, let's say. But you come to see that you are actually detached from them. You are distinct from them. And that's what's beautiful. You get to play both roles, as I said before, to somebody else. Also, the fear of the unknown is just the ego. The ego is supposed to be scared of the unknown, because the ego needs something to cling onto, so to speak, to feel stable. But in contrast to that, conversely, your true nature does not need anything to just be, because it is just what it is, pure consciousness. It doesn't need objective experience. So that's what's happening here. Your mind is fighting to hold on to something, your old self, whilst your true nature is actually at peace, knowing that all is okay, which is giving you that loving feeling that you said you've been experiencing. So try to keep switching your vantage point from the ego mind to that true nature that you really are, that observer. It doesn't need anything. It's just whole already. But the ego needs things. Do I believe in God? Not in an Abrahamic way. I'm here in the world and need to live, and feels like survival, which does not match my appreciation. I'm not sure that's what you're saying there. Earth is flat. What earth? You all need Jesus. Oh, there's always somebody. Energy soul never dies. Any more questions apart from is that really or Wills says big up everybody in the live, you're all amazing and important, never forget that. Hello. The Bible is as true as you believe it to be. What's Akashic Records? Well, it's a claim that there's a dimension, let's say, that holds all answers. And to some extent it's true, because infinite consciousness is the background of everything. That's where our minds get information from. Where else is there? What are your thoughts on the Anunnaki? That's Willis. Anunnaki, it's a story. I see no reason to put it this way. When it comes to things like Anunnaki, I've looked into that a lot. At the beginning of my journey, I was looking into all of these types of things. Believe me. But when it comes to things like Anunnaki, Nibiru, all these things, it's fun to look into, and it can open your perspective as to what Earth is or reality is. However, it's simply not going to help you understand your true nature, your true self. Because even if a so-called Anunnaki alien appeared right now in front of you, the question, who am I, would still remain. Even if they said, oh, you're one of us, that still wouldn't be the ultimate truth. Because there's this observer always of the moment. The observer that you cannot get to from the foreground of reality, as I keep saying. So no matter what you identify as, that's never going to be your true nature, which is the observer that is consistent of the experience of you saying, I'm this, I'm that. So what was present before you identified as something else? There's something consistent. That's what you need to find, my friends. Find that which is consistent within all experiences. And by definition, it cannot be an identity, because they can change. That which is consistent is your true nature, pure consciousness. Thank you, Janice. How do you feel about the vastness of everything and that we go on forever and ever? I think it's amazing. And it's simply the nature of reality, because existence can only exist. I've said this many times before. Existence can only exist. Non-existence does not exist by definition. This is one of my most famous videos on TikTok. So it's simply the nature of existence, of reality. It can only exist. However, when we are experiencing as that one consciousness, as that one existence, through different bodies, we are now in a different vibration, a different form, a different time. We don't remember the so-called alternate life. So there's no trauma really from an alternate life that you carry with you. It's just beautiful experiencing. And we always have the opportunity to awaken, so to speak, because we are always that truth really. We have the ability in every lifetime to awaken, to see clearly the beauty in being whole, but also experiencing individuality. It's actually really beautiful. And you can actually never get tired of it once you really experience it. Endless joy. What are you all chatting about in here? Doesn't it show there? Spiritual awakening? Question and answer. What made you question reality? Good question. What made me question reality is getting into spirituality and then getting to the point where I realized, hold on a minute, there's lots of opinions, lots of people saying lots of things, but hold on a minute, who am I? That's what made me question reality deeply. But who am I? Who is the one that is saying I'm a shaman, I'm a spiritual person, I'm a astral traveler, I'm a whatever? Who is that one? Who is the I? Who's the one that says I have consciousness? Do I have consciousness or am I consciousness? There's a difference there. Why is it that I cannot choose my thoughts? Why do thoughts just appear and then disappear without me consciously saying so? Why does my body just age without me saying change, grow? Why is everything seemingly automatic? So who am I, really? That's what made me question. Take care, Janice. What do you do about boredom after awakening? What boredom? What boredom? I couldn't be bored if I tried since my quote-unquote awakening. One of the things I've often said is during the height of my awakening experience when it first happened, I remember thinking very clearly, I could watch paint dry right now and be ecstatic, just be in awe. It's not the same degree as it was then, but there are still elements of that feeling. Like just looking at your hand, just thinking about the fact that you exist. There's nothing boring about existence itself. And if you're feeling bored, then you are thinking with the mind. You're not thinking as your true nature. Because the ego always needs something to happen, something new. But your true nature is what it is all the time. However, your true nature is the most beautiful thing. Complete peace, complete wholeness, complete awe, complete wonder, complete happiness. So you're thinking with your ego if you're saying you're bored. When I say ego, I simply just mean your mind. It's not a disrespectful thing to say. We all have ego, aka mind. I'm lost in this conversation. I think you are all talking about spiritual things. You know we are. I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. Like, trust your intelligence. You know we're talking about spiritual things. It says it up there. You can hear what I'm saying. Let's all be confident with ourselves, people. Everyone is like a radio, picking up different frequencies, singing different songs. Yeah, you could say that. When you were awakening, did you ever feel like maybe we just live and die and do not exist again? Never. No, though. In the awakening, I came to see my infinite nature, which you also are a part of. If you're bored, do something about it. Love to all. I'm away. Take care. Love how you explain it. Thank you. It's mind-blowing. Everything is connected. We are all surrounded by so many lies and illusions. Yes, we are surrounded by so many lies and illusions. However, that's okay. I'm here to tell you, that's okay. All of these lies and illusions are okay. Because guess what? The biggest lie in this world, in existence, in your life, is what you are telling yourself. That you are an individual entity separate to the universe. You started it by attaching to that belief. When really you are that which you call the universe, that which you call consciousness, that which you call the truth. There's no separation. You're not in consciousness, you are it. You're not in the universe, you are it. What else can you be made out of? So subsequently, every thought and belief we have from thinking that we are individual entities are going to consist of egoic patterns and being bounded by the process of time, being attached to our thoughts and emotions, because we believe we are just this body-mind construct. And again, that's why this awakening thing is so beautiful, because you have to do the work. You don't wait for some guru or rabbi or imam or priest to give you the answers or tell you. You can have guidance, of course, but you have to do the work. You have to come to see that, oh yeah, there's something more. There's something more, right? And also about the illusions, right? Or the main illusion of you being an individual person is we need it. We need to feel that we are individual. Otherwise, we can't have this experience right now. Think about it. If you were literally, take that word literally, everything, then you would be no thing. Because there will be no contrast from where you begin and something other than yourself begins. Because you would be all things. So we need to have this experience that we are individuals, that we are separate from other things. But during awakening, you can come to see that all of this is like a dream to an extent. You know how you have a dream and there's many people in the dream believing they have their own minds and thoughts and emotions, and you're so sure that's the case when you're dreaming. Then you wake up and realize, oh, it was just my mind. What's the mind made out of? The mind is made out of consciousness. What are you using to experience right now? Consciousness. The same consciousness that is experiencing the dream world is experiencing this world, the so-called waking state. It's the same thing as in the dream as it is in this so-called waking state. There's one source, this consciousness, and these different expressions within it that we call people, me, I. So we need the illusions, but also we have the opportunity to awaken out of the illusion to then play within the illusion and have fun within the illusion and not get so attached Do you get powers? That's a fair question. I assume you mean after awakening. That's a totally fair question. Of course, not like, shooting lightning bolts out of your eyes. At least not in this reality. But there's a power in a sense in being able to switch from being your ego mind to being very clear that you are the pure consciousness behind it. That alone is like a power enough to be satisfied with, because it's very big. I love dreaming now. Tiger vs. Lion. What? Watch the replay on YouTube. Cool. Yeah, this is on YouTube as well. Can I do this on live on desktop? It's always hard to see. The text. Let's see. What's your opinion on religion? Religion is a control system. You are an NPC. That's just funny. I just let my mind go to scary places sometimes. Like to think about everything all at once. Take care, Sarah. When people say, how do you know I feel like that? Dude, we are the same. I like that. Actually, I really like that. What's your name? SKC Beats. I really like that comment. I saw you in Poundland. Yes, I have astral projected. How many times a week do you meditate? I don't meditate anymore. My life is meditative. I feel like I'm always in that state of the observer. Don't get me wrong, every now and again I might consciously do it, but really I'm just there. Okay, good. I can actually look at this on my desktop. So much better. I can really see what you're saying. Bigger text. I'm so excited that I'm looking at this on my desktop. So I got bigger writing. Ah, yes. I don't have the biggest phone. It's the little things, right, that can make us happy. Yeah, I can see you clearly now. So don't do any typos, because I can really read what you're saying now. No typos. Okay, any questions? I'll be here for a while, so you don't have to rush, but that's what this is for. I prefer to answer your questions rather than just preach or say what I know. But of course, when I answer your questions, it can end up becoming like a monologue or a preaching. Once we heal within, we no longer need validation from others and are free. Well, if you truly heal, then yes. True. But sometimes we think we've healed, but then still get triggered by things that we thought we had healed ourselves from. So never just say, yes, that's it, I'm healed, because life will still throw tests at you. Be humble. Be happy that you are healing, but healed, life will throw curveballs at you. Just be happy that you are healing on the journey. Life is a lesson. We will continue to grow. Exactly. There are infinite possibilities of what can happen in a single second, let alone our life. As long as you are open to guidance, so truly be happy in your own space. Mr. G, is the answer to it all love? If so, where do I get some of that? Love is the eternal background of your mind, of reality. Love is that which allows. Love is unconditional. True love is unconditional. And that allows reality to be. You exist right now because of that. We can call it anything. We can call it love. We can call it consciousness. But I also call it love. So you are basking in it right now. Notice that when you are resting, you rest in peace, quite literally. When you are happy, you of course feel good. When you are happy, when you are resting, your state isn't anger or frustration. Okay, when you're at peace, yeah, it's more of a loving space. So that is your true nature. That hasn't gone anywhere. It's only when we attach to flickering mental narratives do we block ourselves from love. You can literally just be still right now, close your eyes, just observe that which arises in your mind and be at peace and know love. You can love the fact that you exist. There's always something that you can love about the present moment. I'm in my 30s. Do you think humans should not eat animals? I don't think humans should not eat animals as a general rule. However, I don't eat animals. I don't think it's 100% necessary for everybody. I'll just say that for now. Stop trying to find meaning in nothing. What is nothing? Actually, you can find meaning in nothing, because nothing, the fact that nothing doesn't exist by definition, shows the infinity of nature, of reality. Our true nature is actually no thing. Preparing tea and listening. Nice. We are all souls having experience of this realm. Nothing is the source of everything. Exactly. Yeah. Like silence is the source of sound. Very good. Nice one, Shannon. You see, our true nature, pure consciousness, is no thing. Hear that? It's not a thing. That means you cannot identify it as something. Oh, there's consciousness. Consciousness looks like this. Consciousness looks like that. It's not an objective thing. However, we know from our own direct experience that we are conscious. That's how ultimate it is. It's our true nature, yet it doesn't get entangled in the experiences of reality. It's not a thing, yet all things owe their existence to it. Just like the so-called space around objects in this universe, around your body, your hands, around your ketchup bottle. It's not a thing. You can't pick a bit of space and put it in your pocket. Yet all things owe their existence to space. Otherwise, where would you put anything? Likewise, within experience, everything within experience owes its existence to consciousness. Or how else could you experience anything? And when you come to see that consciousness is not, your conscious experience is not separate from that which you are conscious of, that's when you start perceiving the oneness of everything. Why are some humans cruel, like really, really cruel? Well, first of all, that's subjective. I have to be honest. I have to be truthful, as I always am on this live. Now, of course, I can assume we have the same sort of understanding of what's really, really cruel. Of course, like slavery, for example, is an easy one. However, some people, of course, are okay with, let's say, being cruel to animals. I might say, I'm not going to throw the vegan card at this, but I might say it's really cruel to support the dog breeding business, like forcing dogs to have puppies, to then sell the puppies and creating all of these breeds. I might say that's cruel, but how many people buy puppies like it's nothing? However, another part of the answer, people are, instead of saying cruel, I can say people are living at a distance, seemingly, from their true nature, which is love, because they are overly attaching to their egoic mind. The egoic mind that can be greedy, can seek power, can feel so lost that it will do something to fill the void that it has by doing something that we would consider cruel. Because it's the only way that that particular expression of consciousness person knows how to fill their void. If everybody knew that there was no void to fill, that they are already that wholeness, pure consciousness, another word for it is love, they wouldn't need to seek to fill a gap within themselves via their egoic mind by doing things that can be considered cruel. Whether to other people or cruel to themselves, because self-harm is another thing that is cruel to yourself, like smoking or drinking too much. Again, because that person doesn't feel whole. How do I make the most of my awakening? I'm 1.5 weeks in and have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, what do you mean by awakening, Jesse? Do you mean you're starting your journey, or you've had like an experience of some sort? Why do I sell a course in this, man? Why do you think? That's what I think too. They are the furthest away they can be from their true self. Yes, Nikki, but just to throw in a word I like to use, seemingly. We must always remember seemingly, because nobody is truly at a distance from themselves. It seems as though they are within their perspective, but we are all that source, we are all that truth, but they're just attached to their ego. I've started talking to spirit. Okay, so I would say try to develop your intuition to the point where you are not taking thoughts that are simply your own as opposed to thoughts that are from a higher, let's say, or different dimension. Try to really see the difference, because the mind can play tricks. In fact, let me say this to all of you. If you are trying to develop your intuition, how to do that, there are many ways, of course, first of all. But one way to do it, what I did and what I was taught, and yeah, makes sense to me, is try not to second guess your first initial intuitive thought. Let's say you see some stones on a beach and you wanna bring a stone home, because why wouldn't you? Stones are cool, right? You see a stone and then you pick up the stone. Like, something tells you to pick up that stone. Like, yeah, let me pick up this stone. It looks good. I'll take it home. But then you keep looking around. You see another stone. You throw the stone that you had away and pick up the other stone. Now you're in your ego. Right? That would be in your ego. Your intuition said pick up the first stone, but then you started attaching to your thoughts and your personality, and then you said, yeah, let me get the other stone. So try to trust your initial reaction to something, your initial thoughts. That's your intuitive mind. I get so stuck in the realm that when I come out, I get sleep paralysis. It's so bad. I always go with my first thought. Connect the mind with the heart, always. Says the path. Are you teaching Vedic spirituality or what? I can't tell if that question is like rude or not. I'm answering any questions that you have on spirituality or awakening. Some of my answers may come from the Vedic perspective, some may not. I don't pigeonhole myself, although it may seem like I do. I felt a huge spiritual shift and awakening last year, but I don't now. What can I do? When you say what can I do, Roseanne, why are you saying what can you do? I mean, what are you seeking? Are you saying that you had an awakening experience and you want to experience that again? Because the awakening experience isn't supposed to last indefinitely. It's going to integrate into your personhood to allow you to navigate this world in a more balanced way. So that's normal. Take care. Path to Queendom. Does your belief in what we call spirituality include the supernatural? Well, it's a funny word, isn't it, supernatural? Because what do we really mean by that? Because everything is natural to consciousness in experience. Outside the laws of nature. Again, I'm not even trying to be funny, but who decides the laws of nature? My point is, the perspective that we have with our mind can broaden, can widen. Because everything that we are perceiving that we call so-called nature is due to our limited perception. However, there are ways to widen your perception, to see nature differently. So if you can give a more specific example, like somebody flying or something like that, like, then we can discuss. Oh, not rude at all. No, I feel like you are very genuine, Mr. G. Genuinely. I'm pretty intuitive with that. Can you disconnect from your mind and body? Interesting question, because fundamentally you are already not your mind and body. You are the observer of your mind and body. Henok or Hen-OK. Not sure how to say your username. You are already the observer of your mind and body. Are you hopeful about the future of society? I don't need to be hopeful, with respect, Helen. What's the most important thing is for you personally to be the best version of you that you can be. Because if we want a better world, we have to be the change we want to see. And that's what's missed by so many people. It sounds very cliche, but it's really true. Be the change that you want to see. And you'd be surprised at how many people can start bettering themselves just from using you as an example. Otherwise, it's like we're being hopeless, waiting for other people to change. They need to change. They need to change. They need to change. No, hold on a minute. What are we doing? Are we changing? Mr. G says, okay, something like universal consciousness that we can maybe prove with science. Well, universal consciousness is truth, I would suggest. But to prove it with science, no, because science cannot detect consciousness. Again, consciousness is the background to all of this. Imagine you was dreaming and science proved in the dream universal consciousness. It wouldn't mean that that scientist that proved it in your dream was proving universal consciousness in this so-called waking state. In other words, the scientist cannot get to its source with scientific methods. It could do other things. First person to say my name correctly. Can you explain synchronicity? Synchronicity to me is a sign from, let's say, your deeper self that you are a powerful creator, that all is one, that time isn't real. Things like that. It's not random. I don't believe in randomness or coincidence. I don't believe in that at all. Things that happen can only happen as they happen. There's no other option. And the proof is that it happened. Sounds simple, but who said truth needed to be difficult? Now, of course, within our mind, we can say, oh, if I did that, then this would have happened. Of course, now that's fine. That's fine. That's a part of the beauty of mind, is we get to have hindsight and imagine things. However, the thing that happened could only have happened. And the proof is that it happened. What is the correlation between spirituality and aloneness? Well, it's not a given. However, of course, if you are starting to perceive people, yourself, the world differently to people around you, then yeah, you may find it hard to find people to connect with who you can talk to about spiritual things. It is a byproduct. It can be a byproduct, let's say, of the journey. You're moving into like a new earth. Not literally, but a new way of seeing earth. Truth is a vibrational frequency. You can feel it. Well, what I would say to you, Aaron, is truth exists and we can only deny it. So, similar to what you're saying, but yeah, truth exists and we can only deny it. You can accept it or deny it. Like, for example, the fact that you exist. Like, you can deny that you exist, but you'd have to exist to deny that you exist, for example. A lie is low vibrational, so we can feel it. And Nadia says truth. Oh, where's just checking YouTube. Any questions? Jem says, I like the background pic. Does it have meaning? I mean, I just found it randomly on Instagram. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's me. It's a tiger. My name is Tiger. It's got that brown cape. I wear a brown cape. He's clearly meditating. That's a spiritual endeavor. So somebody like consciousness reality made that character for me. That's how I feel. I feel like that. And I have a 6-pack. Do your beliefs extend to a creator, universal, divine being? Not creator in the literal sense, because there is just what is, and what is, to use a label, as consciousness. It cannot be created. There's just change within it. As for universal divine being, well, we are all expressions of this universal consciousness. So from that perspective, we are all actually divine, but most of us don't realize it. Hence we do craziness and terrible things. So nothing is more divine than you, your true nature. But I know you're probably thinking of like, or asking about like Krishna and Jesus and like divine beings like that. Those are concepts of different levels of reality of consciousness. They don't necessarily exist as actual beings. However, the fact that we can think about them means they do exist in some way. At minimum, our belief in them, which has power in and of itself. But literally speaking, there is just what is, and what is pure consciousness, and we are all expressions of consciousness. We are all divine, but most of us, like I say, don't realize that. I mean, most of us have been taught to believe it's blasphemous, for example, to say that you are divine. What do you think of the concept that we chose our parents before birth? Yeah, sure. Again, I don't believe in coincidences. You know my favorite animal. But not choose your parents in the sense that you, like the person that you are, chose it. This consciousness, this whole, you could say choose. The word choose is very tricky. The word choose is actually very tricky, because I could argue that there is no choice really, because choice suggests an individual that chooses, but there's just consciousness. There's just an infinite amount of possibilities. happening at once. How do you differentiate between mental illness? Sorry, how do you differentiate mental illness between spiritual awakening? How do you differentiate mental illness between spiritual awakening? Got your question. It really depends. You have to be more specific. I understand the question, but not everything considered a mental illness is that. And I could argue that there's no such thing as mental illness, in the sense that the mind appears as it's supposed to appear. The mind's job is one thing, everybody. The mind has one job: to create an experience. That's it. Now, the experience can be something that we deem to be mentally ill. The experience could be something that we deem to be genius, but it just expresses a particular experience. And if, let's say, what I'm saying is true for a second, that there is infinite consciousness, that means there's infinite possibilities. That would have to include mental so-called illness. But the person who has that so-called mental illness, fundamentally, they're still whole and complete, because all experiences are transient. They don't last forever. They're still the observer of their being, their personhood, their lack of being able to do something, their being able to do something. They are no less whole than you and I. So it really depends on what type of illness you're talking about. And as for spiritual awakening, it's just simply nothing to do with being ill. It's actually being very switched on, that there's something more than this mundane reality. Seemingly mundane reality. Have you ever chanted the Hare Krishna? Sorry, I assumed you said Krishna. Have you ever chanted the Hare Rama over and over again for hours? Not for hours, but I have chanted Hare Krishna, Ram Ram, Shiva Shambho. I do like those chants. Even Durga as well. This is to Stephanie. We are one spirit, one consciousness, one people, one love. You are the you in universe. Yes, Aaron. 100%. What do you do different if you living around, I guess, malicious people that then abuse you? I mean, it's a pretty open question. However, at minimum, of course, you want to try and protect yourself physically. Okay, physically protect yourself. Try not to put yourself in a situation that could trigger someone to abuse you, if you can't leave, that is. But yeah, that's a very personal question. That would need to be a one-to-one question and answer. It lifts me up, Hare Krishna. Thank you for replying. Yeah, I love the Hare Krishna. And funny thing is, I used to think Hare Krishnas were crazy. When I tell you guys, I wasn't always like this. I used to think Hare Krishnas were crazy people. Next thing you know, I'm literally seeing Hare Krishnas around London. I keep on attracting them, I guess. Or we attract each other. And then I'm singing with them. Life, eh? There's actually a video of me doing that on my page. Hare Krishna. Shiva 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 Shambho. I have WhatsApp, but pray to message me. Message me on Instagram, Tiger Dragonstorm 2. Laughing Truth comes in. Shiva, yeah, boy. Shiva, 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 Shambho. Oh, that's funny. Laughing Truth, you just came in when I'm talking about Shiva. Synchronicity, eh? After our conversation before. pulled you through the ethereal planes of existence. Man, like I said earlier, there's no coincidences. Literally, myself and Laughing Truth were talking about Shiva like not too long ago. He just joins when I'm talking about Shiva. Do you see? We're all connected. This is not fake. We are all one. Anybody just joining? You can ask me a spiritual question, and I'll endeavor to answer. Where am I? This is my Instagram. Oh, Latin Shoes just put in my Instagram. Cool. Shiva Shambho. I have something for you to unpack. Okay, my hands are ready. Guest request. How do you do this again? Can you have? Oh,
hello.
Hello.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? The sun is shining, I see.
Beautiful. Yes. Very important.
Yes.
So I have something for you to unpack with your guests. So I'm gonna suggest it to you, and then I'm gonna hop off, and you can unpack with them. And I want to talk about this. It's my opinion when people are thinking of spiritual awakening or something like this, or this, that instead of it being like, oh, this is obvious, this just is, they're looking for some supernatural, mystical, bigger than life, jumping over buildings, walking through walls, whatever, all that, which is definitely part of it. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying there's a simpleness and an obviousness that I think people get caught up in the magic and wonder, and it's and that need for that mystical, incredible thing seems to me to be sort of like a spiritual materialism. Like it's another object. They have a car, they have this, they have a mystical experience. So I thought that might be something, because to me, I don't even, if you asked me, hey, what's your awakening and everything, and I go, it's just an obvious like, oh, well, okay, so do you understand what I mean? Like,
of course.
So I wonder if that's something that you can unpack for people, if it's worth as a topic, and then I'm gonna jump out of here. Unless you have any questions about what I asked.
No, of course. Yeah, we touch on this a lot. And for example, Kundalini, awakening, these buzzwords and balancing your chakras and all of this, these things are not necessary. I speak to everybody right now for a so-called awakening. Because your nature, your true nature, cannot be at a distance from you. Think about that. How can your nature, how can you be at a distance from you? You must be present. You must be here right now. You must be the you are looking for. So you will often find on my lives that I may say things that are contradictory to what other people have told you. Like opening a third eye. I say this a lot. There's no third eye that needs to be awakened for you to so-called awaken. You are already that. It's just a remembering of who you are, of what you are. So, like Laughing Truth said, all the like epic experiences are valid. They do happen. And I will say it until I'm blue in the face. I've had some of those experiences. I've had incredible experiences I had incredible experiences during my awakening. Yet there are some people who haven't had like the bang or the big objective experiences, yet still understand totally what I'm talking about. So yeah, don't get too fixated on what will happen during your awakening. Just let that sort itself out. Just focus on the simple message that you are the observer of your thoughts. You are the observer of your body-mind construct, meaning your body and your mind. You are here now. You are present. You can't be anywhere else. Can you find this consciousness that you are? You can't. Yet you know it's you. Just these simple things will help you see the truth. You cannot be at a distance from yourself. It's not possible. You cannot be at a distance from truth. It's not possible. You cannot live in falsehood from the perspective of the truth of reality. There's just reality and differences within it. You cannot live outside of consciousness. Where would that be? And there's a reason why so many people have their awakening and start laughing. Whether they had the awakening as like a bang like I did, or whether it's a gradual awakening, they get to this point where they just find things funny. It's been said to me a lot in real life, away from the internet, that I laugh a lot. Like I talk, then I laugh. You'll notice even during the stream. Particularly before I answer, I start laughing. Because it's just like my nature coming through, the nature of happiness, which we all have. Like babies, toddlers. The nature is so clear, right? That they're just happy. That's their nature. But it's still your nature now as an adult or a teenager. And awakening kind of reminds you about that. Oh yeah, everything's just funny. But when we stop taking things funny and take it really seriously, we already know what happens. Greed, power struggles, war, we know that. When we could all really just go in a big field and just play football. Different colors, different races, just go in the field and play football. But no, I need what you have. Give it to me. Power. I need to be the best. Being in your head is one step out of reality. Well, it's being in your mind reality, but I know what you mean. Don't let your mind tell you what to do. Tell your mind what to do. All thoughts are lies all the time. There's no such thing as a true thought. Mine's been gradually increasing last few months. Hey, take that personally. Be joyous, not through desire, but through the striving of spirit. I like the fact you are talking a great subject. Well, this is the ultimate subject, which is yourself. Isn't that so amazing? The most amazing subject is yourself. Analyzing yourself, who you are. That's the most amazing subject. Because you can't find it. You can't even find it. You're so sure that you are you, but you can't find this you. How amazing is that? So you create this character. Oh, I'm Tom. I'm Sarah. Because my mom told me so. That must be who I am. And you can change that. You can change your identity. You can change your body. So what are you really? You can't be the changeful. You must be the changeless. Because you are there experiencing the changing of your mind and of your body. Yet that changeless nature that you are cannot be found. Objectively speaking, you just know you are it. And that's amazing. Like, what? Consciousness? Where is it? I know I'm it, but where is it? Where? It's non-dimensional. The path to enlightenment is through labor and thinking. People poison themselves with disbelief because the self is separated from source. Not separated, distinct. Use the word distinct because there is no separation. I'm sorry, but what do you mean by Q&A? Q&A means question and answer. Some of us are being made more perfect every day. What do you mean by that? Hi from Scotland. Hey, Scotland in the house. I had no earthly father to look up to. I realized that my heavenly father taught me to be a man. Okay. That sounds positive for you. Good. How am I today? I'm infinite consciousness today. How are you? Just another day being infinite consciousness, but convincing myself that I'm actually a body mind talking to a screen. You know, the same delusions. Am I guiding people to consciousness or what? If you understand what question and answer means, then it's simply I'm answering people's questions. But yes, essentially, I'm trying to help people awaken to their true nature. But my point being, the questions could be anything. It's not always going to be a consciousness answer. But hopefully, most people are on topic. Working on staying in the present moment, in the now. Good. Although you don't really have to work on being in the now because you are already now. But I know what you mean. I'm very good. I hope everyone will stay safe and be happy. I've lost faith and started to feel at home in African spirituality. Now I feel homeless. You are not homeless. You are not homeless. Or I could say that you are homeless. No, let me change this. You are homeless because there is no home from where truth really sits. Truth can be found everywhere and anywhere. Also, your true nature is before all concepts. Pure consciousness. It doesn't have a home, so to speak. It just is. Feelings of being alone are of the mind. Okay, the mind can have a feeling of being alone, but you are the nature, the substance of the mind. You are already whole. You can only be whole. You are so whole that you created this experience of feeling alone. You know what feeling alone feels like, or looks like, or the experience of it is like. Because you are whole, because you are not alone. There is nothing that is actually you. Oh, I might be going too far. When you say I feel alone, you are not that I. The I that says I feel alone is not you. You are the observer of that one, that personhood that says I feel alone. Your body is an experience. Your mind is an experience. Your emotions are experiences. You are the experiencer of them. As am I. As we all are. So know that you are in your mind and not in your true nature. But that's fine. This is the whole journey. Keep trying to discover your true nature, which is always whole. And then you'll never feel alone. You never feel lost. Where else is there to go to but the so-called here and now? You can't be lost if you are here, if you are present. Know this for sure. You are here, you are present, always. Consciousness is always evolving. Everything you think, speak, or do is added. I know what you mean. I wouldn't use the word added personally, but I know what you mean. The only reason I wouldn't say added, if I'm going to be a bit meticulous, is because consciousness is infinite. It's more that we become aware of things that we were not aware of before. Because nothing can come out of consciousness into consciousness. The mind can become aware of that which it wasn't aware of before, for sure. But consciousness itself, all infinite possibilities already exist. But the mind can become aware like a torch, shining itself on different items in a dark cave. That's what the mind is doing. Consciousness is that infinite cave, and the mind is a torch. We're just revealing different aspects of consciousness, of that cave. I'm feeling mysterious tonight, and I don't know where that's coming from. It's because you're a part of a high vibrational conversation right now. Everybody's probably feeling it. We pretend we don't know, exactly. And we pretend so well. I ran out of exceeded letters, so I had to change the wording. Okay. I totally hear that, Aaron. But still, that experience of what you wrote, Aaron, created that experience of my answer, which can help other people. But I have a feeling you know that. I'm also feeling mischievous. Hey, again, that's a part of the play, as I said earlier. Nothing wrong with feeling mischievous. Especially if it's light-hearted, of course. Coming from a good place. Like, don't just cause harm to someone because you're feeling mischievous. That would be wrong. My ethnic background. You can ask that if you want. Jamaican. But do I identify as my race, as my body, as my mind, as my name, all these things? No. I'm infinite consciousness. That's my background. I mean that literally. The background of my experience is infinite consciousness. If it had a color, it wouldn't be infinite. If it had a name, even though we call it consciousness, it wouldn't be infinite. But the word consciousness isn't really what it is. It's an attempt at naming it. Could you explain that in layman's terms, please? Sure. I appreciate the honesty there. So I'm going to say it in layman's terms, but it still might be hard to understand. So what I'm saying is, if I use myself as an example. No, I have to use you. I'm going to make assumptions, but I'm sure I'm right. Which is probably going to sound arrogant. You have thoughts. You have emotions. You say you have a mind. You have a body. I'm assuming these things, and I'm sure they're right. Yeah, young Tom Tom. Now, what is the experience of those things? Your body, your mind, your emotions. What's the experience of those things appearing to? Meaning, what's observing your thoughts? You probably say me, right? You say I'm observing my thoughts. But when you say I am observing my thoughts, you are still aware of the I thought saying that. So there's something that you are, that the experience of your mind is appearing to, that's for sure. But no matter how much you try, and I implore you to try, you can't actually find it. This real you, the true nature of you. You can change your name, you can even change your skin color. You can change so many things. You can change your body with plastic surgery, your name, etc. You can change so many things, but there's something that doesn't change. So when you say I, when you say me, that's what you're really referring to. But we believe we are referring to our name, our race, our gender, our body when we say I, but we're not really. The true I is that which doesn't change. And it must be the true I. If it changes, then it was never who we truly were, by definition of it changing. So that true nature, I've come to see experientially, is infinite. I had a powerful awakening in 2017, and I have to say I in quotes, and I'm sure it's everybody else's true nature too. There's an answer for you. But, never just take what I say as dogma. You know, allow guidance to be guidance, and do what you want with the words, and try to seek, if you want to, the true nature of yourself. But you are living your own journey. Take care, Tucker. You have a good night too. How is that achieved? Says Dave TH. Are you referring to what I said to young Tom Tom before? If so, there are many ways, such as my way, which was to self-enquire, which simply means having introspection, questioning daily. Who am I? Trying to discover this true nature, this consciousness, trying to find it, literally trying to find it. Oh, you just mean spiritual awakening? Well, I kind of started answering you then. First of all, you need to want to have a spiritual awakening, meaning want to know a deeper truth to yourself. You need to want to. You don't just do it like because you think you need to or something. You don't need to. Yeah, so that's first and foremost. I mean, are you wanting to start a spiritual awakening? Like, is it your desire? Or are you just curious? Because that makes a big difference. You are wanting to. Okay, so yes. So it starts with questioning, like, who are you really? So to start light, since you're at the beginning, just try to see if it's true or not that you choose your thoughts. That's the easiest place to start, Dave, TH. Just try to see, do you choose your thoughts? Because thoughts appear, right? They appear in your mind. Do you actually choose them, or do they just appear in your mind? Start there. You're amazing. If you don't mind me asking, how old was you when you had your spiritual awakening? Says Hazel. First of all, thank you. Fundamentally, we are all amazing. It started, I must have been early 30s when it started. My awakening. My girlfriend said her spiritual animal is a cat. She's had this through intuition. Can you confirm? Well, was her intuition that her spirit animal is a cat, or did she choose from different types of animals and then select the cat? Meaning, was it like, oh, my spirit animal is a cat, like a aha moment, or was it more of a choosing? Because there is a difference. Oh, thank you, Hazel. I appreciate that 100%. It's my emoji. What do? You did fist pump, fire. Is this fire? And heart. Did you hear my question, Aaron? I guess that's a typo. How did you awaken, and what does awaken mean? Thanks. Well, I can't give you a long answer because there are other questions I'm sure that are going to come. But essentially, I started questioning. Well, no, I'll give you a bit more. I did many spiritual practices. Okay, many spiritual practices. From, I don't know, telepathy, energy healing like Reiki, astral traveling, Kundalini, chakras, like balancing them and everything. I did every sort of shamanism. I did many different spiritual practices and thought processes. But then I came to question, hold on a minute, who am I? Like, who is the observer of my thoughts? I did that for like a whole year and had a massive, powerful experiential awakening. And yeah. But the thing is, when it happened, the awakening, the experiential awakening, I came to see that I was already what I was trying to be. And that's the joke of it all. We are already that which we are seeking. We are already that which we are seeking. And think about it. How else could you be? I mean, who else could you be but yourself? We're seeking this true self. Where is the true self? I'm going to balance my chakras. I'm going to do sound healing. I'm going to speak to a guru. I'm going to go to India. I'm going to do yoga asanas and stretch and try and touch my toes, whether I can or I can't, to find myself. When all along, you was yourself throughout all of those endeavors, because you can only be yourself. The truth is here right now, present with you as you, because it's you. And that's the whole joke of the spiritual awakening journey, because it's a paradox. There's value in doing these practices for the mind, for your current level of beliefs. I'm talking to all of you, of course. But ultimately, you come to find that you was that truth all along. And me saying this to you right now, hopefully that can trigger some of you in your mind to start trying to be more present, to understand that that truth is here right now. So Aaron said it was a aha moment. Then yeah, that's it. As I said earlier, if you're choosing, that's coming from the ego. But when it just comes to you like that, that's an intuitive thought. Trust that. How do you know which chakra is blocked and why? Hopefully I kind of answered you, Trini Born P, that I suggest you don't overly attach to the chakras being blocked or not blocked narrative. Because what you really are is not a chakra, not a body, not a thought. You are the observer of all of these things, all of these concepts. And you can never be blocked because you are pure consciousness, which is open, which is free. That can never be blocked. So what is really blocked? The idea of a chakra being blocked. Go to the source. Go straight to the source. Human being. The clue is in being, not human doing. Just be your authentic self. There's truth in that for sure. But how do we frame ourselves other than a spirit in a physical body? Try to grow in this incarnation. I had a Kundalini experience after doing years of meditation, which made me clairsentient. Well, think about it, Blue Seahorse. You say, how do we frame ourselves other than a spirit in a physical body? Why should we frame ourselves? Doesn't a frame imply being boxed in, having dimensions? We don't need to frame ourselves. We are frameless. We are the observer of the frame. We are the observer of the picture. That picture being experience of our thoughts, our mind, spirit, being clairsentient. We are the observer of all of these things. You don't need to frame yourself. For example, I use the word spirituality and being a spiritual person very loosely. I mainly say it, I've said this before, I mainly say it because I know it will attract the people who are on my same wavelength, who want answers to certain questions. But really, we are either all spiritual or we're not, because we're all the same thing. But the Kundalini experience brought weird electromagnetic energy and anxiety that I couldn't handle. That's something different that you're saying right now. You said, how do we frame ourselves? The experience is an experience. Okay, that's fine. Although you say you couldn't handle it, to be more accurate, I would suggest it was more your mind and maybe your body. But again, you are the observer of that uncomfortable feeling. I know, of course, in the moment, it might feel very uneasy and negative. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to belittle your experience. It's not that pain, can just be overlooked when it's happening. But right now, see that you are the observer and was the observer and always will be the observer of that which happens within your spiritual journey. Your true nature never gets tangled up in things like Kundalini. Or even energy. We even observe energy. That's how before experience we are. People say everything is energy. No. Consciousness isn't energy. You had to stop meditating. Sounds smart. However, I have to say, sometimes there are certain spiritual practices, use your intuition of course, but certain spiritual practices that feel uncomfortable, but if we stick with them, something beautiful happens. If we open up things we don't expect, like psychic ability. Hot. I guess that's a typo. You say hot. If we open up things. Jackie says, hi, I'm on a spiritual retreat and got images of this tiger. Interesting. But if we open up things we don't expect, like a psychic ability. I feel like you haven't finished your sentence, Blue Seahorse. Could you elaborate, please? So I can answer you better. Oh, I didn't see that there was questions on YouTube. Are you still here, Sandy? If you're still on YouTube, Sandy, you said, so why do we feel so far from ourselves? That's because we identify with the mind, and the mind's nature is to appear and disappear. The mind's nature is to appear in time. And time creates this idea of travel, of course, of distance. The less we identify with our egoic mind, the more we can be present. I'm not the me I'm looking for. How do I get there? You are already that. Thank you for those questions on YouTube. Why did I see this tiger? Well, apparently to bring you to my live stream. You don't really have to overthink these things. I mean, I did years of Raja Yoga meditation, which opened up all sorts that I wasn't expecting. People touched me and felt electricity travel down their body. I felt others' pain. I felt their heart chakra energy, which I'd say beautiful thing, but I didn't ask to feel spirits. I'm going to assume, Blue Seahorse, that you believe that you create your own reality. Right? And you do. We create our own reality. So you have some sort of attachment to things like the chakra system, things like spirits, things like Kundalini. So you are interpreting certain experiences as being connected to those things or being those things, which is totally fine. I'm not knocking that at all. It's totally fine. But as I was saying earlier, none of those things can touch your true self. You having an experience, which is interesting. It's the whole reason that we live, that we exist, is to experience. Full stop. So I think we've kind of lost what we're talking about right now. Because I was just saying that you are that untouchable pure self, pure nature. You're describing things that have happened to you, and yeah, I have no problem with that. In 2021, I had an awakening experience. While in deep meditation, it was a magical experience and hard to describe. Going back to, what's your name again? Blue Seahorse. So experiences are inevitable. We can all agree with this, right? There's always going to be experiences. That's, again, we can't escape that. But when you overly identify with experiences, you then can end up going down a sort of spiral into your experiences and start identifying as being something that you are not necessarily in truth. Such as, for example, oh, I'm a witch. because I had certain experiences. I'm a light worker because I had certain experiences. I'm an Arcturian. I'm an descendant of the Anunnaki. I'm this, I'm that, because I had certain experiences. The experiences are to be experienced and then left alone. In terms of understanding your true nature, don't attach yourself as being that experience. Like, that's who I am. Experiences change all the time. For example, you could have amnesia, Alzheimer's. Then every quote unquote spiritual experience you had will be gone. So we are not that. So just keep in like a compartmentalized way that experiences are what they are and they can be cool and awesome. However, our true nature never touches it, never gets intertwined with it, is always free of it. Always come back to your true nature. Experience the cool experiences or even the harsh experiences, but let them be that, experiences. Keep them as distinct things from your true nature. Otherwise, you'll start feeling lost when you don't need to feel lost. It's not that you have to let go of every experience. Just don't overly identify with the experience. Just don't overly identify with the experience. That's what I'm saying. I'm a nothing attached to nothing, part of everything. So we have to... Oh, I answered you already. Is our true nature... Great explanation. Oh, thank you, Aaron. Is our true nature when we feel the formless spirit, which is bliss? Well, our true nature is blissful for sure. But again, wording it as spirit is interesting to me because it's just who you are. When we say spirit, it kind of feels like you're saying it as something other than yourself. Maybe you're not, but it feels like that. It's just who you are. Your true nature is bliss. Sat Chitananda, you probably heard of this. Very Buddhist. Yeah, like emptiness is form, form is emptiness. All of that good stuff. And that's so true. Like I said earlier, because consciousness isn't a thing, yet there is no things without it. It's fascinating. Yeah, our true nature is definitely bliss. Because it's whole. It can't be anything other than what it is, which is whole. But being a human is not easy. Oh boy. Being a human is not easy. It depends in what way you mean. Because I would argue that a 2-year-old is probably thinking, yeah, being human is awesome. It's so easy. I just get fed whenever I want to get fed. I can poo in my nappy. Or diaper, if you're American. I'm new to this. Can you give me a brief overview? Well, this is about the spiritual journey. So, the spiritual journey suggests that there's something more than a mundane reality. That there's something more to what you refer to as I or me. And I'm answering people's questions on these things. What are your thoughts on Hinduism or Hinduism? No, I know it's a typo. But first of all, Hinduism, unlike most people seem to think, isn't one thing. Isn't like Hinduism. There are many different thoughts, school of thoughts in so-called Hinduism. And some of the school of thoughts, I think, are very true, such as Advaita Vedanta. But it's not really Hinduism. I mean, there's a whole history of like Hindus and who named those people Hindus and things like that, how it connects to Europeans. So yeah, it had to be a bit more specific. I know we are not supposed to be attached to anything. It's all ephemeral, but so many lessons. True. Exactly. Hindu is a name given by the British. Yeah, I've heard that, but I've also heard that some Muslims or Arabs were involved in it too. I think they mean Vedic knowledge. Yeah, but I'm not going to assume. Because actually some quote unquote Hindus don't actually believe, for example, in everything being one. So it's not all the same school of thought. Correct. The Om symbol is awesome, by the way. It feels like every lesson is probably a spiritual lesson. But why do some get more hardships? Everything that we experience, period, is a lesson. Everything. Literally, we are constantly learning. Why do some get more hardships? You see, there's many ways I can answer that, but one way I can answer that is, if you see that everybody is you, then it's actually pure consciousness experiencing a multitude of experiences. Some of them we would call hardships, some of them we would call lovely, but it's all consciousness experiencing different experiences. And I'm not saying that in an unfeeling way. I'm just talking about the truth. And then again, like I said to somebody earlier, if we want to change the so-called physical world, the so-called objective world, then we need to be the change. Good day, brother. I love you and appreciate you. Thank you. Love you too. Did we choose this life? Is there karma, reincarnation? There is reincarnation in the sense that you as pure consciousness is always going to experience something. It can't, because it's infinite, it can only have infinite experiences. And some of those experiences are like what we are having now of being a human being. So there's always going to be experience. But as for reincarnation in the sense of you specifically, Blue Seahorse, coming back, you specifically, no, there's only one you. You are that unique. There's only one you. But you as consciousness, yeah, you will experience another body. You just won't realize that you used to be Blue Seahorse. How do we see everyone as one and the same? By understanding our true nature. That's how I came to see it. I know it sounds simple, but when you have this experience of so-called oneness, your perception literally changes. I mean, I said this to my friend the other day, I literally see people differently to how I used to, and how most people probably do. I don't see you as this person. I see, oh, that's a form of consciousness there. That's another form of consciousness. This isn't just mental. I literally see walking, talking, breathing aspects of consciousness, like a lucid dream. That's what it's like now. It's like I'm having a constant lucid dream. Like I'm aware that this is like a dream. Therefore, I see the oneness of it all. What's happening on YouTube? Sunday, you say loneliness and I think I answered that already. Skyworks. Do we have a better idea of this if we have an out of body experience? Says Karen. 100%, yeah. An out of body experience can really help you see the oneness of things. And I'm speaking from experience because that's how my awakening, that initiated my awakening. Or I should say, no, that's the wrong thing to say. I should say that was the first part of what I experienced. I was standing behind my back, or I was perceiving behind my back, basically. Now I'm looking at my back. Like, what? What just happened? Could another spirit take over your body whilst you were out of it? You see, as I said before, this word spirit, this is part of your belief system in like spirits and things like that, which is fine, but I think it can harm you in terms of like having fear, such as this fear that you have right now. I mean, no, it's a question, but there's probably some fear within it. Could another spirit take over your body whilst you were out of it? You, again, you are whole, okay? You are always whole. You are whole consciousness. Your nature is whole. You are that truth you was looking for. A so-called, you know, it's even hard for me to even play along with this idea of another spirit. It just can't happen. It just can't happen. You're not going to be like locked outside of your body, looking at your body, walking around talking, because another so-called spirit has taken it over, and then you become a ghost. You know, it just can't happen because you are, again, that pure whole consciousness. Experiences change all the time. Yeah, and that's fine, having imagination. I was the same, by the way. At the beginning of my journey, I asked so many questions. What you're doing is great, Blue Seahorse. I wish there was someone who claimed, like I do, to have had an awakening that I could ask these questions to. So all the questions are fine. But don't worry, nothing can actually harm you like that. Oh, you're very welcome. I feel your energy. It feels very sincere. I like that. My heart chakra feels warm. You see, this is the thing that I have no problem with. As I said earlier, there's something more important than identifying with chakras and things like that. But, however, I don't disregard the value of the chakra system or believing in it. Because when you just said, my heart chakra feels warm, I just felt warm. Because I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. So it's like a language. It's like a higher vibrational language. My heart chakra feels warm. Not everybody will understand that. So yeah, that's very nice to say. I'm glad. Karen said she would love to have an out-of-body experience. Well, the funny thing is, Karen, you're kind of having it right now. Because you are observing your body. Trini Bourne says, are the Akashic records real? And how do you access it? In a sense, yes, because there is infinite intelligence within infinite consciousness. As for how do you access it, you are doing it right now. I do believe in manifestation, Peaches. Just to go back to Trini Born, it's like with the Akashic records, we can get overly fixated on these seemingly cool things like Akashic records. And again, at the beginning of my journey, I was very invested in these things. But the more you try to conceptualize something like the Akashic records, the less real it becomes, because you start creating a limited version of what it really is, and you start making it this sort of out there mystical thing, when we can just reframe what we are talking about. To reframe it would be, do you think consciousness is infinite? Yes, I do think consciousness is infinite. So if consciousness is infinite, then all information must be within this consciousness. Hold on a minute. You are consciousness. Okay. So for you to access infinite intelligence, you just need to go into yourself. It's not out there away from you. And that's why, again, it comes down to you understanding your true nature. When you understand your true nature, everything will make more sense. That's why it's so easy for someone like myself, for example, to answer these questions, because I've experienced my true nature, which is the same as yours, by the way. It's all within you. The kingdom of God is within you. Do you believe in subliminal manifestations? I haven't heard of that before. Oh, thank you, BC Hills. After my awakening, I have no desire to work and live that sort of lifestyle, but I don't know what to do. You do know what to do, Sarah. Meaning, there's something that excites you. There's something that you enjoy doing. There's something that intuitively, if I said to you, Sarah, how do you like to make money? What would be your ideal thing to do? I'm sure you'd have some type of answer. Other than that, it's just don't force anything. Because again, that's still the... See, this is an ego trap, actually. When we say things like, with respect and love, I'm saying as always, when we say things like, I don't know what to do, that's an ego trap. If you say you had an awakening, and then in the next sentence say, you don't know what to do, then actually you're still in your ego. Because only the ego wants to do things. Only the ego has this idea of time. Only the ego gets restless and frustrated. Your true nature doesn't do anything. It's just doing itself. It's just doing itself, right? It's just being itself. Okay, so again, rest in your true nature. That observer of the thoughts that say, I don't know what to do. You don't need to force it. I promise you, I promise all of you who are feeling like this, the more you sit in your true nature, the more some intuitive thought will come to you of what to do. Something will come to you. And do you know how I know this for sure? Because the mind is an expression of this infinite intelligence, this pure love, this pure consciousness. It has no other option but to shine itself on this infinite intelligence of ideas and then appear. So you're always going to get these appearances of ideas of what to do. It's always going to happen. And depending on your vibrational frequency, to use a term, this will determine the type of ideas that you get of what to do. So just don't stress, be patient, sit into your nature as this observer of the mind, and some options will come to you as for what to do. I love your knowing laugh. I love that sentence. There is no future. There's an ever-changing now. When you say understand your true nature, can you dive deeper? Yeah, just really try to see, if I haven't answered you already, your true nature. Try to find this space within you that is aware of the thoughts. Try to find it. That's the Trini Born P. So at some point you'll come to see you can't find it as a thing, as an object, yet it's you. Notice how you're not doing anything to stay alive right now, to stay conscious right now. You're just being. Okay? You're just that's how it is for consciousness. It's just easy. It's just at ease all the time. It's just being. That's your true nature. It has no stress. It's not trying to do or be anything. It's being itself. Again, it's doing itself. Yep, the space within you is aware of the thoughts. Thoughts literally come and go, yet we still try to claim that we are the thought, because we delude ourselves into thinking that. So a thought comes or appears, we say, oh, that's me. But then a thought disappears. Then another thought comes, and so on. But we are the changeless awareness of the thoughts. How long have I been on live for? How can I tell? I feel like I need to surround myself with more people who are enlightened and consciously aware. You know what, Sarah? That's not a bad idea. I'll be straight up, as I always am. It will help. It really does help. Being around people who are on the same path, particularly people who are aware of what they're talking about, who have crossed that line. I'm not just trying to like promote myself or anything right now. I'm saying that even at the beginning of my journey, that's what I was seeking too. And it does help. Because it's like a safe place for you to explore. Similar to breathing, it is impulsive. Slowly we are all being awakened. Well, the end destination is our true home as pure consciousness, so everybody ends up there. Why did the West become so soulless? Money in materialism, vacuousness, superficial. That's not really a question that anyone can really answer without going into inferences. Because with all the evidence that we have now, we just infer that this happened, and this happened, and this is why that happened, and this is why that happened. At the end of the day, like I said earlier, the so-called past isn't as important as it's made out to be. Oh no, that's a very maybe controversial thing to say, but nothing is more important than now. Like, you and I live in the West, I assume. If we want to be the change, then if we want to see change, then we must be the change. It really is that simple. We can't just blame the West. Oh, it's the West. All they care about is money, the West. Pointing the finger won't do anything. Especially as we're a part of the system. So if we want to change it, we have to be the change we want to see. This life is very grounding and peaceful. You just made me take a deep breath there. That was very nice for you to say. See, there's certain things that I will keep saying. Like, if you want to see a better world or a better country, a better town, a better street, a better household, a better relationship, we have to be the change we want to see. How can we possibly expect other people to adhere to what we deem to be the correct way of being? Should we all just become mini dictators? Of course not. So we must be the change we want to see. Sarah says she shifts her focus on what truly matters. We are all connected. We are all one. Yeah, exactly. I'm actually enjoying this, and your voice is soothing. Well, thank you. We can't keep blaming ourselves. We can't keep blaming ourselves or others. Or others. Oh, Karen said the same thing. I just realized. I mean, think about it, everybody. If you're blaming other people for the state of our society, what are you actually achieving by that? I'm talking, of course, to all of us. What are we actually achieving by just blaming? Like, just picture it. Picture, like, all of us just standing, I don't know, in front of some dictator, just pointing our finger. Like, just shaking our finger at them. Oh, probably some man. Oh, what would that actually do? Oh, you. Oh. When all of us, when instead we could all, instead of blaming and pointing the finger, we could be like, you know what? Let's just act differently. Let's just be different. Let's just have different values coming from the perspective of love, of oneness, of connectedness. There's more of us than there is of them. And that's 100% true. Make it so powerful and so obvious and so easy that people have no other option but to join, because they'll see how happy and free we are. Versus pointing, you. My corn didn't grow because of you. Although that can actually be real. Okay, yeah, look at the similarities, not the differences. Yeah, 100% believe sequels. Look at the similarities. Well, acknowledge differences, of course, but what's fundamentally most important is that we are all one. Because we need to acknowledge differences to understand people. I think I've been doing at least 2 hours. So I'm going to stop in like 15 minutes. So any more questions? Keep them coming. Let me check YouTube quickly. Wonder Boy says, what is reality? What isn't reality? There is only reality. And different perspectives within it. There cannot be an unreality, a no reality. There's just reality, what is. Thank you, Blue Seahorse. I'll say some here actually. I literally never do this, but follow my Instagram. I'm just putting it in the comment now. If you want to, of course you don't have to, but if you want to, because I've started a new page, so I have like only like 78 followers, and sometimes I announce that I'm going live on there as well, and I have pictures and memes and things. I don't really put pictures on TikTok. It's not a picture app, as we all know. Anybody have plans tonight? Saturday night? Anyone got plans? And again, if you have any questions, I'm going in like 10 minutes. No plans? What is spiritual psychosis? What have you heard it is? Because I haven't heard that term before. I can assume, but what have you heard that means? Chill out, been cinema with my boys earlier. You went cinema, Stephen. What did you watch? Just to locate the space between the thoughts. Ashe. I'm doing well. I've heard that it's basically when you experience spiritual awakening and your perception of. I've heard that it's basically when you experience spiritual awakening and your perception of reality is broken down. Oh, really? Well, psychosis, of course, has a negative connotation to it. And when you do have a spiritual awakening, yes, your perception of reality, you could say, changes. I mean, broken down again has negative connotations, but it changes. You're still in the same reality as other people. It's just that you're seeing it from a different frequency, therefore seeing it differently. So now you start going through depression and other mental health issues. Yeah, I keep coming across these things. Like, I believe lots of people are erroneously linking spirituality to depression and mental health issues. It's erroneous to such a great extent to me. It's almost like a cop-out. Oh, I'm going through depression because I'm having a spiritual awakening. I've seen it so many times. No. That's something else. That's you using an excuse, a scapegoat. Spiritual awakening is nothing to do with sadness. It's not a sad thing. Yes, there are ups and downs, don't get me wrong, but it's not a sad thing that you're going to spiral down into something that you feel like you can't get out of, aka depression. I would love to know what somebody is doing on their so-called spiritual journey to end up feeling depressed. I can only assume that they are maybe understanding the connectedness of things a bit better, and then feeling sad with their empathy for the suffering of others. I can understand that. However, when you keep going, don't just stop on your journey. When you keep going, you come to see that one of two things. Those people who are suffering, the same as yourself when you are suffering, those people are still whole. They're still whole and complete. You can't be anything other than whole and complete in your truest nature, not in your body mind. Of course, that can have experiences, can have problems. But your truest nature, you come to see that that's always whole. That's one way. One thing you can see. The second thing you come to see, which is the hardest thing to see, this is the hardest thing to see. And this is the thing that for the person who has not experienced an awakening will see as spiritual bypassing. But I'm not about that. However, the highest perception, you will see that all is literally one. There isn't actually suffering. And I know that sounds crazy. Consciousness doesn't suffer. The person in your dream did not suffer. The experience was of suffering, yes, and it was a real experience. But the substance itself in that dream, the mind, that didn't suffer. However, mind is actually just consciousness. And it's the same consciousness that is aware right now of all things. So this is the hardest level to see. That actually, ultimately, there is no suffering. So on this journey, one needs to keep going. Keep going. And it all comes down to just understanding your truest nature. The more you understand your true nature, the more you understand other people's true nature, because we are all the same thing. And the more you understand your true nature, the more you will want to help other people awaken to this beauty of their true nature. The less you will be agitated by other people, because you will see that they are a part of this experience of difference. And they are also teaching you something, because we are all teaching each other something. I can go on and on, but I'll stop it there for now. Jojo says, essentially, seeing everything different after seeing everything one way can be a lot. That's true. Grieving helps you love deeper. Sadness is not a bad thing, but people try to escape it. Interesting. When going through a shift, you can experience a dark night of the soul, but it's only because you are going through change. What you go through a long time of domino effect, repeated suffering, extreme lessons. I assume you mean if you're going through repeated suffering, then again, I know it sounds simplistic, but something needs to change within yourself. Something needs to change. Of course, it depends what suffering we're talking about. If you're literally chained up to a radiator, that type of suffering requires something different. But if we're talking about within your mind, then something needs to change with the thoughts that you are giving the most attention to with your inner beliefs. Because life will keep sending us these lessons until we learn from the lessons and understand the lessons. Only then can we progress. This is the same in my life too. I'm not free from it. I'm still learning lessons that, the universe is trying to show me. We have to see that they are lessons, understand the lessons, and then we can move on. Just like when you're learning that 2 + 2 = 4. You can now move on to, 2 + 3. And then 2 + 4. Right? So you learn your lesson and then you can move on. I asked to learn about impermanence and death, and then the lessons were horrific. Yeah, well, that sounds like a harsh lesson you had. But again, what can help you is understanding your true nature. You lost your home, your cat, your health at the same time. So it made me scared to ask. I mean, what's coming to me initially, Blue Seahorse, when I read that, is you've actually showed that you are a powerful creator. I'm not saying that you wanted to lose your cat or your home or your health. I'm not saying that. But you really are a powerful creator. So you can also create something positive as well. That which you do want, better health, a better home. And your cat is an expression of consciousness. Your cat is whole. It has melted back into the source of all things. Yeah, we need to be careful. True. Hi, do you have to be alone to go through an awakening? No, you don't. Have you had the Kundalini experience? I mean, I spoke about Kundalini earlier, and essentially, it's not something that I suggest that you focus on too much. I could say, yes, I have, but I could also say, no, I haven't. It's irrelevant. Because what I've experienced is my true nature. My true nature is something that Kundalini cannot touch. Chakras cannot touch. My hands cannot touch. My thoughts cannot touch. My emotions cannot touch. A gun could not touch. Nothing can touch my true nature. It's the background observer of the foreground of reality. That's what you want to understand that you are. Then you understand everything else is just a concept. Useful concepts, some of them, not all, but concepts, nevertheless. I've also thought of people and brought them to me by thought, which was strange. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm laughing. We really do create our reality. It's just quite funny how it's so true. Ashe. How do we get past learning through pain? What do you mean exactly? How do we get past learning through pain? It sounds like you answered your question, so I'm not sure what your question is. We create our reality. What a privileged thing to say. Yeah, you're right. You are so privileged. You are so privileged. You create your own reality. I mean, you have TikTok, Nams. Wow, how did you create this reality? You have time on your hands to go on TikTok and type to some stranger. Awesome that you created this reality of abundance. That you have time to go on TikTok. On your phone, I assume. Have you got spiritual gifts through this awakening, I assume you mean? Like I said earlier, it depends what you mean by gifts, but My greatest gift to me is that the perception of who I thought I was and who I truly am, true nature, is easy to switch between. Blue Seahorse says, because as humans, we often don't learn till the metaphysical saucepan hits us in the head. Well, yeah, true. Been going through weird stuff for past weeks. I feel like something is attacking me. Something where, in your mind or in so-called physical reality? Notice I say so-called physical. Nothing's actually physical. And scientists hate that truth. But it's true. Nothing is actually physical. Mind and body. Therefore, I guess it's your mind, really. I would say it's your mind. Try to be calm. Try to be still. Try to meditate on the fact that you are the observer of your mind. You are the observer of your body. Even if something tried to attack your mind, it will still just be your mind creating the experience, the appearance of something attacking you. And your mind cannot hurt the mind. Just as a spoon cannot feed itself. So know that you are the observer of the mind, of the body. That will reduce any fears that something can actually enter your mind and hurt you. Because you are the observer of it. You're watching the movie. Again, you are the observer of all of those things you said. Ears ringing, overwhelming you. And this is the thing. Neve, I probably can't say your name properly. You say overwhelming you, but it's not actually true. If it was overwhelming you, you wouldn't be able to tell me what's happening. You're aware at every stage. Can't sleep, heart racing, ears ringing, and loads of other stuff. The feeling of overwhelm. That feeling of overwhelm is known to you. You are aware of the feeling of overwhelm. So that consciousness, again, your true nature, as I keep saying to you, all of you, cannot be overwhelmed because it does not get entangled in the mind's appearances, the mind's perceptions, the mind's experiences. Be happy about that. Your true nature isn't overwhelmed. Even if we are confused, in that moment, there's some clarity that confusion is happening. This is why we have to understand that we are not separate from the mind, but there is a distinction. Just like there's distinctions on your screen right now, okay, that create this image of my face. But really, it's just a screen that you're looking at with different colored pixels. It's all one. So there's distinction. Try to not take yourself for the movie, the characters on the screen of the mind. Try to take yourself as that which you truly are, the observer of it. Oh, you're very welcome. As I did say, I was going to stop at 8 o'clock. So that's now. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your questions. Some of you, I think, have been here from the start, which is just awesome that you would think to or enjoy staying here. Have a wonderful day or evening. Follow me on TikTok. I should say that. And yeah, remember that you are whole. You are that truth that you are seeking. And you are the distinct awareness of the mind. You are not the mind itself solely. Take care.